Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Grandpa.
I'm Megan.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Matt. And we're some of the Veggie Boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. So far this morning, we got the animals taken care of. We got the farm market all set up. And now I'm doing some investigating in the greenhouse. Now that it's plant season, we've added an extra chore to our morning chores. We've always taken care of the animals, set up the farm market, but now we have the greenhouses we need to check on. Ooh, check this out. You can see how it's starting to dry out in certain spots. For example, this is our cabbage crop that we're gonna be planting out into the field. Look at these starts. They are growing so well. Now remember, we direct seeded these into these trays. Beautiful. And then as we continue moving down through, we have all of our sale cole crops. So we got some red cabbage there. Here's kale. That stuff all looks nice. Down here is some lettuce. Looking good. That is that. We're gonna have to do some watering here a little later on. But before we do that, I'm gonna go up and check with Dad and make sure there's no other jobs that we need to finish first. I found Dad. He was grading eggs, so I stopped to help him for a little bit. And then after I'm done here, I'm going to water. And what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna print labels for Aunt Barney and Dave. And then I'll be down. We're gonna plant tomatoes, I think.
Oh my goodness. Now you could be thinking to yourself, Andrew, why don't you just wait and water in the afternoon? Well, I'd love to do that, but we have a large greenhouse up top and all that stuff is gonna need to be watered. So to make sure that we can get all of that watered, I need to start watering down here now. Now with my watering today, I'm gonna be focusing on the vegetables because that's really what needs to be watered. We do have quite a few flowers in here, but they don't seem to need as much water as the vegetable plants, so that's what we're focusing on mainly. Now when it comes to watering, what you see is kind of what you get. There isn't too much going on, and that's part of the problem. A lot of people ask, you know, am I putting enough water on? Am I putting too much on? And there's so many questions that could come from just watering your vegetable plants or your flowers. And what we've seen over the year from being vegetable farmers and just helping people with their plants, one of the biggest scares that people have is that they're not going to water their plants enough. And yeah, that could be a problem. My suggestion for that, make a schedule. Sometimes people forget, and that's the issue when it comes to not watering your plants enough. You might forget or start doing something and yeah, just make a schedule. But the biggest issue, in fact, is that people water too much. Overwatering is one of the biggest causes for people to have plant failure, whether it's from just drowning the plants completely, not giving the roots enough oxygen, or just inviting disease in by all the moisture that is sitting on the plant. My suggestions with watering usually go back to having a good schedule. And here personally, where we live, we don't like to water too late in the day because that does invite disease. By watering too late where we live, there's not enough sunlight to burn the moisture off the leaves. And when water sits on leaves, that's where your disease will start. So disease is a big problem. Overwatering is the biggest problem we see. And there's not too many people that forget to water plants. I don't know, this is kind of weird. I was just thinking about this. Tomato plants have like a specific smell to them. If you've ever raised tomatoes, you know what I'm talking about. And as I was watering those tomatoes, it just reminded me of summer right there. Smelled like tomato plants. I can't wait. I just got everything watered down over the hill. What now?
Help Daniel fill trays.
Oh, okay. I'm here to help. What do you want me to do?
Take these trays off!
So Daniel, first off, is working on filling up trays for our Aunt Bonnie. They're still working on planting flowers. And then we're gonna be filling up some trays for us for planting tomatoes.
Now we have to fill 50 806 trays and 24 32s.
So you're telling me you've got everything all figured out already?
No, I don't have anything figured out. I don't even know what's going on.
Daniel and I, before we can start filling up trays, we've been putting them together. Oh, what? There's a big problem.
I lost count. Mom's talking to me.
You just made him lose count.
Why? He has 10 fingers and 10 toes. He should be able to count.
We just got all of our trays filled up for transplanting tomatoes. I'm just filling the machine back up, so if the girls need to fill any pots or trays, they have plenty of soil. All these trays should do for this afternoon when we start planting. Occasionally when we get started, we'll forget about a variety or two, so we might have to come up and fill more trays, but for now, we're good. It is just about lunchtime though, so we'll be down there working after lunch.
I do take care.
Alrighty, let's see what we're having for lunch. Ooh, we're having sausage hoagies, potato salad, and what are these, dilly beans?
Dilly beans.
Dilly beans!
Okay, Daniel, can you put the rest of that in there then?
We got finished with lunch, and now we are back down in greenhouse number 4. Now, we're working on transplanting tomatoes today. Now, I'm gonna show you the tomatoes that we're transplanting. Now, we call these specialty tomatoes. We've got orange cherry here, grape, red cherry, there's all different types of tomatoes. And since they're all specialty tomatoes, we didn't do flats of them, we only did each an open seeded square. We normally don't like to open seed tomatoes, but for these specialty tomatoes, that's what we did. Dad was already down here, he got started on grape tomatoes. He's already done a few 32s in the 6-inch pots, so we're finishing off with 806s.
6-inch pots too.
Yep.
You want me to fill 6-inch pots? Or?
Well, now because we open seeded these, you can see they're very thin and spindly. This is why we like to plant them into the plug trays or seed them into the plug trays. But these will be completely fine once we get them transplanted. They'll have plenty of room to grow, and they'll grow right out of the spindly phase. It's just from when they were seeded, they didn't have a lot of room for the roots to stretch out. So we'll get that taken care of here shortly. For now, we're just gonna work on getting them transplanted. We just finished off our grape tomatoes. Now we're moving on to orange cherry. Now the specialty varieties that we're planting, they consist of a lot of like cherry and grape tomatoes, but we're also doing some heirloom varieties. What you'll find interesting is we have found out through the years that our customers like to buy certain plants more than others. And not that heirloom and cherry and grape varieties aren't popular, but we don't sell the larger packs. For example, the 806s, as much as we do the single packs. And a reason for that is because a lot of these cherry and grape tomato varieties, they really produce. And you don't need as many plants because you're not making sauce out of them. Maybe you're not giving them away to family. But these cherry and grape tomatoes sell pretty good in the single packs, and we also do the 6-inch pots. Now it is kind of different with the heirloom varieties. You will sell a few more 6-packs, but same thing with the cherry and grape tomatoes. They are really popular in these single trays. So we sell a lot of these little single trays over the 806s.
What are you doing? Are you playing?
Callie took a little break from being the boss up in the farm market to come down with Aunt Megan, and now she's down helping us with planting, right? Are you looking at the flowers? Flowers! We just finished the orange cherry, and now we're moving on to Juliet tomatoes. You know, I don't like to start drama, Dad, but a lot of people in the comments were saying I plant faster than you.
I don't think they're telling the truth.
Gonna take the plant, take it, set it right there. We're gonna grab the stick, grab it, there you go. And then you take it, and then push down. There we go. There's your first one. Yep, that's a tomato. Be gentle, remember, gentle with the plants. We just got finished off with the Juliet tomatoes. Now we're moving on to a Sweet 100 cherry. Now these cherry tomatoes, they're not too small. The Sweet Millions are the really tiny ones, but these Sweet Hundreds get a nice size to them. These are our most popular cherry tomato, and this is what we actually plant out in the field, so we sell quite a few of them. A lot of times when customers come to the farm market, they'll ask us, you know, what do you plant in the field? So we always raise a little extra of those varieties for sales, because we know that people will be asking for them. And I like to touch on this point every now and again in my videos. With tomatoes, you have to remember the root systems on tomatoes are a little different. You see where all this white section is right here? And you see all those little hairs growing? Those little hairs, wherever they touch the soil, will start growing roots. So even if you take this tomato, for example, you see all our roots down here, and you break that off, this will still grow. So we're gonna take this, put that in the soil, and we'll be good to go. So you can be a little rougher when you're transplanting your tomato plants. You never want to be too rough, but tomato plants can be pretty tough. While I was doing some more planting, Dad went up to grab tags. Now, what are some of the things you have to worry about when you're doing tags?
Bumping your head off a basket in the water running down the back of your shirt. No, we're trying to keep track of the pot size and pricing and everything, so you have to be careful what size pots you have, varieties on there.
Now, what is the price difference between all of these pots and trays?
Well, we get $3.50 for a 6-inch pot. We get $3.49 for an 806, which is a 6-pack, and then we get $1.25 for a square. And really, our pricing isn't really based on the cost of seed and stuff. Our pricing is based on how much room in the greenhouse it takes, because we know our square footage, and then we have to figure out our heating and taking care of things. So we're not actually selling a pot for that price. We are selling that much room in the greenhouse for this price.
Space is really key when you're in the greenhouse, because the more room you have, the more you can sell. So if there's pots that take up more room, well, then they're gonna cost more. And that's something you really have to figure in when you're working with all different types of vegetable plants, fruits, and even flowers.
You gotta be careful with stuff too. You can't just shove everything in there in a tight space, then you get a lot of disease and your plants just die.
Now, I have answered the question of whether or not we plant heirloom tomatoes quite often, and I understand we always get new people coming to the channel, so I don't mind sharing. We do a few heirloom tomatoes in the field. We don't plant too many varieties because disease is quite a problem with them. However, for our customers, we like to raise a few extra varieties because everybody likes something different. So today we've got a few heirloom varieties that we're going to be putting into our sale trays. And then as the year goes on, we will be planting some heirloom tomatoes into the field. We have been flying through these tomato varieties, and that brings us to our next variety, pineapple. These are a beautiful tomato, and we seem to sell them pretty quick. And no, they don't taste like pineapples, but that would be pretty cool, huh? That'd be a neat tomato. That'd get the kids to eat the tomatoes.
This is not my favorite job.
What's your favorite job?
Eating tomatoes.
Matt's standing on the hose. He thinks that's funny. He needs it to be taken out behind the woodshed.
We don't even have a woodshed.
It was the perfect time to come up into the farm market. Look who's here for work. Who's that? Get Daniel, get Daniel, get Daniel, get Daniel. Doesn't she look so cute?
She always looks cute.
That's because Mama dressed her. You got anything you want to say on the camera? Anything you want to say at all?
I'm Kelly.
Alrighty, we are now up at the house. And as you can see, there's no dinner on the table. It's date night. But we're doing something a little different. We're actually just getting pizza as a family. So that'll be fun. So anyways, guys, since we're getting pizza, that means this is where we're gonna end the video. We'd like to thank everyone for watching. We hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.